to all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry Live 2.0. I'm your host, Sean Whittington. I am a deacon in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house, where I live. Got a great show today, but you all already knew that. That's why you tuned in. And my guest is in the green room, and he will be out here very shortly. But first, if there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. And if you go there to visit, there's a lot of cool things to see. But most importantly, remember that my wife and I don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So trust me, brothers and sisters, I know times are tough. But if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you, it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. While you're there, there's all kinds of cool things to see. You can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues, not paranormal, but spiritual. I offer a Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course that you can enroll in. And I have my books are there, both my books, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, and God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2. And if you buy them off the website, I autograph them for you. They leave my office, and they come to you enclosed in a beautiful house blessing kit. Or you can get them a little less expensive on Amazon. What else do I want to say? I think that's my song and dance for me today. Um, so right now I have somebody else very special here. She is my friend. She's my publicist. She's my publisher. She is the owner and creator of Stellium Publications, Stellium Books, and she's my new permanent Friday co-host. Please welcome to the show the one and only Annette Munich.
Hello.
What are you
Hi,
doing?
Sean. Hi, everybody. Doing
How's
good.
you look very pretty today. How's the weather in Illinois?
It's pretty good in Oklahoma.
Oh,
I'm
that's
in
right. I keep
Oklahoma.
forgetting you're in Oklahoma now. Well, I'm
It's
flying in
about,
March. I'm flying to Illinois. That's why I asked.
right. Yeah, I'm from Illinois, but it's about 60 degrees. I'm getting really close to being done with Kelly's book. I'm putting that out, The Paranormal Pages, and Sunday's my birthday.
That's
So
right.
doing some special stuff this weekend. So everything's nice.
Very, very cool. I will say a prayer that you have a blessed birthday and many, many more to come. So good
Thank
for
you.
you. And that's funny you bring up Kelly. I spoke with Kelly a few days ago. I had a good friend of mine who's a doctor who lives in Colorado but comes down here probably one weekend every month to do surgeries at the hospital that Sharon works at. And she's got a ghost in her house, so she wanted to know what was going on and stuff. And I actually recruited Kelly and her paranormal partner in crime to do a remote viewing. So, and I thought about you. So I reached out to Kelly and we spoke recently. So I'm looking forward to her book coming out and getting her back on here and we'll have fun with that. Anything else you want to tell anybody about before we bring out our very esteemed
Uh,
guest?
no, not really, but I'm working on some coloring books. I'm doing adult coloring books. I'm going to put out some of those. People
Very,
like
very
it.
cool. Very,
Something
very cool.
interesting to put out.
And
Yeah.
anybody that's out there watching who might be interested in reaching out to you to have you publish their book, you're also now getting possibly, I don't know, I think you're getting ready to start doing audiobooks, right?
We have an audio book that'll be coming out very shortly. It's already gone through 2 edits. So, yeah, and that's for Ira. And that's Ira Wolf Nothson. And her book was From Occultist to Christian, The Devil's Mistake. And then I have book coming up after this one that I'm working on that is also from Era. And then I have kind of a big surprise and it's pretty locked down, but I can't say when. So I'll
Okay.
hold that back. But some really exciting things going on, interesting, keep him busy and out of trouble. So that's good.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Well, I don't have to check the prayer urn today, and I'll tell you why. Because I got a little behind on that. It started filling up, so I emptied it out and got a hold of everybody in that prayer urn this past week. But what I wanted to mention to everybody was I noticed I was getting inundated with people this past, I want to say, week or two, suffering great loss, like they lost a child or they lost a good friend or they lost a sibling or a parent. A lot of people suffering. So I decided to do something different today, and I'm going to offer up a group prayer for not only the five or six of them, and they know who they are because I've spoken to all of them this week, but for anybody out there suffering loss. So I am going to do that now. A lot of people suffering loss. Okay. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, accept my prayer for all those in purgatory for whom I should pray because of ties of family, gratitude, justice, or charity. Have mercy on all my relatives, friends, and benefactors, as well as those who hold positions of authority, both civil and religious. Admit them all to your eternal happiness in heaven. Eternal rest grant them, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen.
Amen.
Let's check the mailbag real quick. There we go. Illinois. We got somebody from Illinois. That's weird. Peter C. Hi, Peter. I think I have a ghost of a relative haunting my house. Okay. I'm not scared. Can it be okay to allow a ghost to just hang around if you feel they are just watching over stuff? Huh. That is a very interesting question. I think I'm even going to probably run that past my guest today. That sounds like that might be in his wheelhouse. And it's funny that I get that question today because that was what I had our friend work on, Kelly. And it turns out after they remote viewed this home, it was probably the spirit, the disembodied human spirit of a family member of the previous owner there looking for their family member. So I'm not really sure how my doctor friend is going to handle this. I gave her a house blessing kit to take back home and gave her some helpful hints on what might make things better. But that's an interesting question. You got any thoughts?
Oh, I say yes. But also, like, one of my first thoughts is it's kind of cute that people might have the idea that it's totally up to them if somebody hangs out or not, because it can be a real process to get somebody to move on that doesn't want to move on.
Yeah.
If something is there and it's friendly and not disturbing anybody and it's respectful of the family and the home, and especially if there's love behind it and you know who it is, that can almost even be comforting. I've heard some stories like that, and my one friend, she thinks that her mother shows up sometimes when she's doing her night prayers and the rocking chair starts to move a little bit and it smells like her mother's perfume, and it's comforting.
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
it can be. It can be.
The thing my doctor friend is experiencing is when this spirit is around, it drains her. And
Oh,
spirits tend to do that and not even know they're doing it because they're trying to absorb energy from the atmosphere, from electronics, from even you, so they can manifest and stuff. But and she doesn't know this ghost, so she's a little weirded out by it. But there's also, a lot of people believe that the longer a disembodied human spirit hangs around, they're not alive any longer, and they haven't gone on to where they're supposed to be. They're not of this world. That the longer they tend to hang around in a place, they tend to get unhappy, and then that unhappiness can sometimes turn to anger, and then that anger sometimes they almost become a little bit of behave in a malevolent way. I'm on the fence with that theory, but something to think about for sure.
It could
Well,
happen. I could see that. It could. Every case is different, and that's what makes it hard in the paranormal because oh, people are on a quest to try to understand things, and yet every case is different. So what you already learned in the past and experienced in the past, it might apply, and then also it might not apply.
absolutely. All right, are you ready for our guest?
Yeah, let's go get Bryan.
I'm proud to call him a new friend, a new BFF. He seems like a really cool dude. He is the owner and creator of PARAPOST, owner and creator of Huntaphobia, and owner and creator of Global Ghost Hunt. So he's up in Canada. He's an actor. He's just a cool dude. Let's give a big, warm paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Bryan J Laverty.
Oh, thank you. That was nice.
How
That
you
was nice.
doing?
Hello.
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you? I always like with the up in Canada, and
Is
it's
Canada
like
still there?
yeah, Canada's still here. It's funny. I'm my desk is pointed towards the window, so I'm able to look outside. I'm on the 29th floor too, so the sun is just going over the some of the buildings that are out there, and it looks pretty cool. But then on top of that, there's rain clouds in the sky right now, so it's pretty cool. It's one of those picturesque moments. But yeah, Canada's fine. I'm
Um,
starting to think I should move the states, though. To be honest.
Let me tell you something. The one thing whenever I was on a radio show earlier this week,
Yeah.
also from in Canada, I thought about you, and I thought about growing up. We have, and I still have cousins up there in
Mm,
Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta.
okay.
But our family was always invited to come up there. I guess I don't know if it's called this, but I'm going to assume they were like season tickets. But they had tickets to the Calgary Stampede every year,
Mm,
great seats, and they would invite us up, and we never went. And now I
yeah.
really regret that we had never done that.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been
but
once.
where are you at?
I'm in Toronto.
Well,
Toronto is.
here you go. Tell us how haunted Toronto is.
There's a lot of spots around Toronto. Uh, I not as much as obviously the states or the UK, but we do have some great locations here, and I've obviously been to a lot of them. So yeah, we got some good spots too. And we do not sleep in igloos. We actually sleep in places, but like
I also think
condominiums and houses.
whenever I
And
think
stuff.
about Canada, I also think about one of the weirdest interviews I ever did was with an
Yeah.
abductee from Canada who
Mm,
said that the first thing the aliens had asked him was, "Have you seen God yet?" Which I thought was very, very interesting. But I know so
mm,
many guys up there; they're big time Sasquatch hunters,
yeah.
and be surprised how many people I talk to from up there that have been to many big time paranormal enthusiasts that have been to many haunted locations. So there may be more out there than you think.
Yeah. And like Sasquatch is a big one out in the Calgary area. The Wendigo has been spotted out in Algonquin Park, which is about 2 hours from me. So we have our share of apparently some cryptids too. So, but I always find it weird when people take pictures of. And I said this. I was on a podcast yesterday, and this one I had to go to. I had to go. I was in studio for this one, but uh, we were talking about the Sasquatch and stuff like that, and it's always interesting when people capture a Sasquatch on picture on how it's always so pixelated. The picture never ever seems to be really clear. But yeah, we got that stuff. But remember, Canada's only been around for 150 years compared to like the states is what is states at now, like 230, somewhere around 230, 240, somewhere in there. And then you got the UK that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So, but yeah, we do have locations up here, but just not as many as like the states or the UK, to be honest. And I will say this, though. I will say this. Canada is a little bit different than, like, again, the States and the UK. Canada is a lot more reserved when it comes to the paranormal.
Really?
Yeah, there's, for example, I wanted to investigate this location, and apparently it was a great location. I knew some people that went there, so we were setting up to get ready to do this location, and I got a call from the owner saying, you know what, we changed our mind. We don't really want anybody coming in here because we're afraid it's going to ruin our business. And you get that a lot here.
Yeah.
You get
In
that
the
a lot.
US, sorry to interrupt. In
No,
the
no.
US, we kind of went around the corner on that. It used to be that way, and now it's kind of like, heck yeah, say
Well,
it's haunted. And then that draws in a lot more curious people. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you put cute items on the menu and
yeah. Well,
make some T-shirts, and
yeah, it's interesting because I did a location that is, it's a store, it's a retail store. It's like a craft type of store, like one of a kind type of things. Like, it's really cool. It's called the Nook, and I've been in there twice, and she's got a haunting in her store. The reason she has a haunting in her store, we think we know the reason. Originally, the store owners that first owned the store, they had a brother that ended up committing suicide in the store.
oh,
Or not actually in the store, outside of the store in the back on a, how do I say it? There's a level upstairs, like it's 2 floors, but there's a level upstairs, like there's like a wooden patio. So he apparently hung himself from that patio, and apparently we think he's still there. I've actually been in the store. I've seen him. But she was happy as pie for me to come in, and it actually helped her business a little bit. People started coming to her business. But we did 3 locations that one night. We did another place next door, and it was a nail salon or a hair salon, and she didn't want anybody to know that it was her location. So we ended up having to edit the video in a way that you really couldn't tell it was her store. Yes, it was dark in the store, but she didn't want anybody to know because she was afraid that she was going to lose clients. So, it's a lot more of people not wanting compared to people wanting, to be honest. And like I said, we're very reserved. I always find with paranormal shows, they've attempted to do them here, but they've never lasted. Yeah, I just don't think people are very it's not that they're not interested. They're very reserved about it. They hold back about it. For example, my parents were non-believers in the paranormal. So you get a lot of that here too. So it's definitely a battle. But if you're trying to get into a business that is, it's haunted, it's one of those things that going, I'm afraid it's going to hurt my business. And I say, you know what? I'm sorry. It's going to increase your business.
right.
Because people are going to be interested. People are going to want to come, and, whether it's a restaurant, because I've done a restaurant, I've investigated a restaurant that was haunted, and their business, they have it on their website.
Sure.
They promote it, and people come there to investigate their location, and they do extremely well in business. So I wish people would just get rid of that stigma, of being haunted having a haunted place is a bad thing, because really it's not a bad thing. So yeah.
How did you get I'm hoping it wasn't just a business decision for you, although you're just an excellent businessman. But with PARAPOST and Huntaphobia and Global Ghost Hunt, certainly you have caught the paranormal bug. And how did that happen?
That started when I was about 9 or 10 years old, because I'm not sure I think Sean, but I'm able to see spirits. Now, with my abilities, I can't turn it on and I can't turn it off. It happens when it happens, unfortunately. I've been told by many mediums, probably one of the main reasons for that is because of the negativity of being around people that didn't believe in spirit. So that negativity is always in the back of my head. See, there you go. That's she's out in the Victoria, same thing, businesses. So anyway, so it really started because I was able to see. So I was seeing things when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and other people weren't seeing it. So, and it's
That's
obviously
rough too at that age. If you're not ready
yeah,
for it.
yeah, I didn't understand what was going on. I kept very, very quiet about it. I didn't let anybody know. I think I might have said to a friend, "Do you see this person over there?" No, I don't see anybody. Now, so just to make things a little more understandable from what I see, it's I don't see facial features and I don't hear them. So I just see a solid black mass. And I could tell if it's a woman or a man just by looking at it. When it comes to more of the bad side, the more the demonic side, which is a word I don't really like using. When I see that, it's more of a black translucent smoke that moves around a room really, really, really slowly, like it owns the room. And that's what I see. Now, what's interesting about all of that is when I went to the UK, like the energy in the UK is completely different than North America, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's absolutely rich in history over there and hundreds of years. So as soon as I stepped off the plane and started doing these investigations, I started seeing partial facial features and I started hearing things, which was weird. But as soon as I came back, it stopped. Like, and I don't know why, but it just stopped. But so really, that's where it all began. And then and unfortunately, back in those days, and you guys understand this, that if you went to a library to find a book about paranormal, there might have been one book back in the 70s and early 80s. It was not looked upon, at least here in Canada, it wasn't looked upon very nicely. A lot of people weren't into it. So it was more about, talking with people about it, not letting them know what I know or what I see. But that's really how it all began. But about 10 years ago, I started going out with a local team. So that's how I really got into paranormal investigations. But I've always been somehow around it or seeing it until about 10 years ago. So that's when it really started getting into it a lot more than I had in the past. So, yeah.
Well, I know you are your own team, Huntaphobia.
Yes.
What do you and you've been out with teams, you've had
Yeah.
teams reach out to you for help, for
Yeah.
advice and so forth. How are you on teams and why is there a team more than just you?
That's a tough question to answer. I'm not sure if I want to answer that question. It's not
I'll
necessarily a positive thing. No,
I'll
no,
tell
no,
you.
no. No, no, no. It's okay.
That's okay.
Well, when I first started Huntaphobia, when I first started Huntaphobia, I had somebody else that was coming out with me, and we had a couple of camera people come out with me. And unfortunately, my son was coming out, which not unfortunate, but that was the fortunate part. But the unfortunate thing is he wasn't really a big fan of it. So it's not something he wanted to do all the time. He said he would help me if I ever needed a camera person. But the other person that was coming out with me, he was only here on a working visa from the States. So, which I found out later on. I didn't realize when we first started going out. So he ended up moving back to Denver, Colorado. And then I said, you know what? I started going out with other people and trying to get people on a team, and it just was never working out. It was like they couldn't go out when I wanted to go out, or they wanted to go out, I couldn't go out. So we can never really gel on going out on specific times or whatever. It just got to the point where I was going, and then I started seeing some stuff with other teams, and I just didn't want to go down that road, to be honest. And I'm not saying it happens with everyone. Some of the teams that I've seen in the past, things happen like I didn't want to go down this road, but drama, and I just didn't want to get involved in any of that stuff. So I said,
So you have that up there in Canada too, huh?
yeah. I just decided that, you know what, I'm just going to stick with myself, but I will collab with people. and I was collabing with another person, and it was going really, really well. And then she did something on an investigation that is the ultimate. Sorry, I'm going to use this for me. It's the ultimate sin when going on an investigation. And I didn't find out till my editor went through some video and found out she tried to fake evidence.
Uh-oh.
And with me personally, that is a no. And I told her right from the beginning, I will never ever fake evidence. And if you try it, we're done. And she did on an investigation. And it was a video that was supposed to go up on Paraflix. And I couldn't put it up on Paraflix because the whole video was compromised.
Is that you too, or do you just broadcast there? Is
What's that?
Paraflix you too?
What do you
Is
mean?
that also one of your things?
Oh yeah, I put my videos up on Paraflix. It's not mine, but I put my videos up there. I put my videos there and YouTube, but the videos that I've been putting have only been a partial on YouTube compared to the whole video going on to Paraflix. But
well, I'm gonna ask you both of you this question.
Yeah, sure.
And then you guys can talk amongst yourselves too. Why has there? When I was really young, driving around on my Schwinn with a Polaroid camera in my basket, looking for spooky-looking haunted cottages and cabins out in the middle of field somewhere, looking for ghosts, nobody bothered me. I didn't really tell people I did that because I didn't want people thinking I was weirder than they already thought I was. But I didn't start realizing how much drama there is in this field till I got a little more mature. But it's always been there, still is, and I fear there'll always be a lot of drama in this field. Why do you both feel it's that way, and where do you think that's going to end up?
Go ahead, Annette. Go ahead, Annette.
Well, it was a little bit interesting for me because I had my radio show and I was just talking to people about the paranormal and their experiences, and everyone thought I was a paranormal investigator, and I'd done some of that, but that wasn't my main thing. But there was a lot of, I was surprised at the amount of drama in the community because I felt like if people believed in the paranormal, then they would be kind of accepting of each other. But you had the ghost people laughing at the Bigfoot people and the Bigfoot people putting down the UFO people. And then on investigations, and this was hard because a lot of people would send me a message and they would want some help. And I would be recommending teams that I didn't know if they're good or bad. I don't know how they do things. And I didn't like that too much. And some people, there's kind of a lot of ego in it, and there shouldn't be. And some people, they're kind of like the attitude is that this is going to be fun, and it's all kind of like woohoo and yuckity yuck. And that's not the way it should be either. And I don't know, but everybody had their own approach to it. I enjoyed listening to their stories and kind of comparing notes between different people. But I mean, I had one kind of interesting thing where I had this lady that I was sending her and her team on a lot of things, and people thought that they might have demonic, and I didn't know she didn't even believe in demonic. So you can't send somebody like that to check and see if you have demonic things that they don't even believe in it. And then if they find, 3 Miller Lights cans in your garbage can, they just say you're an alcoholic. But anyway, it gets into so many different things, but a lot of it's personalities, and there's no real unified way of approaching things. So what one person thinks is a respectful way, another person doesn't care at all about.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said when it comes to the drama and stuff like that. You know what? To be perfectly honest, I try not to get involved in it at all. I'm just not interested in it. It's an ego thing for me. It's a jealousy thing for me. For not for me personally, just seeing what's going on. I think it's a paranormal team trying to beat another paranormal team on the evidence in the same location. They got better evidence than they did. You know what? At the end of the day, It doesn't really matter. We're all after the same thing.
Right.
But I think a lot of it has to do with jealousy, ego, and I don't know what it is, but from what I've seen over my time, even over the last 10 years, some people think they automatically think they're going to pick up the camera. They're going to be the next Ghost Adventures,
Right.
and which is just not reality. I'm an actor. I'm not going on to a set going, okay, well, I got this role. Now I'm on my way
Right.
of being a big actor. It just doesn't work that way. And I've done uh, a lot of TV shows, and I'm still in the same place I was when I did the first one. So it's one of those things where, unfortunately, Sean, I don't think it's ever going to end. I really don't think it's ever going to end. And which is really unfortunate, because I really wish it would, because everything that I do is trying to help other people succeed. And, with PARAPOST Network Central, with Global Ghost Hunt, and with PARAPOST Network, the app, it's all about helping people succeed and getting their evidence out there, getting their teams out there. But at the end of the day, I would love to see it go, but reality, I just don't see it ever disappearing. And I will say this, because we're in the field of paranormal and all this, hey, Jonathan, because we're in the field of this and we're always on it every single day, that's why we see it in the paranormal field. That's why we see it. But I tell you this much, if you're an actor or an actress, it's just as bad there too. And if you're like I was a hairstylist for 13 years. Okay. And
Did you
it's
have
just,
hair then?
I did. And well, no, I've shaved my head for years. But anyways, but even as a hairstylist, it's it's terrible in that industry as well. Like, hairstylists backstabbing each other, stealing clients, or a client going to that hairstylist. You know what? It doesn't matter what field you're in. It's in every single area. And I'm sure the radio business is bad too. And I'm
And
sorry I'm going to say this, and I hope it's not, Sean, but I'm sure it's somewhat bad in your industry as well. You
It's
know, and,
bad. It's bad in everything. It's
and
bad
yeah,
in Nanette's field of
yeah,
you
publications.
you wouldn't think so that it would
no,
be
you
in
wouldn't be.
books.
No, no,
Oh,
you
the
wouldn't.
book people are
Yeah.
nice, and it's
So what
just,
I'm
but
so
it is,
yeah,
it is, and there's a
yes,
lot of
yeah,
um, there were genres I wouldn't even publish in because they would start attacking me
yeah.
in different ways because their book's better than my book. You can attack me all you want. It didn't help you sell one more book.
No, no.
Why not be happy for people that are doing cool things? Because that inspired me in life. I'd see somebody do something and I'd be like, wow, that's kind of great. Maybe I could do something cool,
Yeah.
instead of, you can let other people down and it doesn't lift you up the tiniest bit. I
Well,
don't get that.
yeah. Well, my point to the saying that is that you don't know much about the acting field, right, Sean? And if you
Very little, yeah.
Yeah, so if you that's or Annette, if you neither of you knew anything about the acting field or being an actor or an actress or whatever, and you came into it and go, wow, there's a lot of drama in this field. It's the exact same thing with the paranormal. People that are not involved in the paranormal come into the paranormal, then they see the amount of drama that's going on. And it's unfortunate. And unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to go away. When you have so many personalities that are clashing or coming together, it's like people are going to butt heads. It's reality. It really is. Now, it's how you deal with it. That is something different.
I would expect a little bit of
So
that in acting. I would
yeah,
expect to find it there, but in paranormal research, basically the keyword there is research, and so you
yeah,
put together a team and you have a higher um, purpose than just "I'm so great, look at
yeah,
me," or
yeah.
whatever it is that people get into, where they just want to be attention-seeking behavior and whatnot.
Well, I find, to be honest, I find those are the people that, that are just after the hunt. They're not really after the research of the paranormal. They're not, they don't really care. They don't really care what the research is. They don't care about the history. They just want to catch the spirits, and that's all they care about. And I know quite a few of those people. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. If you just want to go out and find spirits and capture EVPs and apparitions, by all means do it. Do it. It's if that's your passion. But with me personally, that's not why I'm doing the paranormal. I do the paranormal because I'm interested in the answers.
Right.
I want to know why this place is haunted. I want to know why the spirit is still here, and or how they died, or that's the kind of investigator. I put investigators in 3 different categories, and I've always done this from the time I started. You got your hunter, you got your person that looking for the answers, and then you have your research, the scientific of the paranormal. Those are the categories I put them in. I'm in the middle. I don't necessarily find that and it's not a bad thing. Again, it's not a bad thing. I find the people that are just after the hunt are really not doing us any favors.
Right.
Really, they're not, because those are the people that are up on YouTube, have 200, 300, 400,000 views or subscribers, and all they care about is the money. That's the downside of our industry. Like, for example, the example of the acting industry, the downside of that industry is and yes, it's necessary that we have them, but sometimes it's the background, that can cause a problem. But, at the end of the day, with Sean's original question, is I don't think it's ever going to go away. I know a lot of people talk about para-unity, which is great, and it's a nice word, but I would have to say probably 20% of people maybe go with it or support it.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people said they love para-unity. They have nothing to do with para-unity, but they support it, but they have nothing to do with it. But it's unfortunate. It's just the way it is. And again, I try to stay away from it. I don't want to get involved with it. People talk about me online. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. They can say whatever they want to say. I don't care, because myself, my mindset is my inner circle of friends know who I am, and that's all that matters to me at the end of the day. And you get that a lot. You get a lot of people going up online and talking bad things about people, which is really unnecessary. I've always been the type of person that if you have a problem with me, come to me, or if I have a problem with you, I'll come to you. And that's the way it should be, unfortunately, but it's not in this field, and it's not in any field for that matter. How many times do you see actors and actresses fighting online?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, get together, get on the phone, get on Messenger, and talk it out. And that's
I,
the way it should be handled. But unfortunately, some people's egos
and it is
don't allow
ego,
that.
and also I think that sports is a competition, but some people make everything into a competition,
Yeah.
and they're competing in things that, even if you wanted to compete, whoever was the best or whatever, that is just somebody's opinion. And
Yeah.
it's not like you can turn everything into a sport where there's a winner and a loser. I have an interesting little story. I don't
Yeah.
know if you've heard of Bachelor's Grove, and that's that's right by my old neighborhood
Mm.
in Chicago suburbs. Anyway, I would go there from time to time. This just struck me funny, so I'm saying
Yeah.
it. So I was there with my brother, and there was like 4 guys there from Ohio, and we were talking to them because they traveled to come and be there and investigate. And so I'm just talking to them a little bit, and then one guy says, this struck me so funny. He said, it used to be a lot more haunted, but the do-gooders show up and they pray for these people and they move on.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it like that, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, What a terrible thing to
You
say.
know what? And it's
Oh,
funny you say that because I've been into locations where you actually have to sign a waiver saying that you're not going to try to cross over the spirits.
Oh yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me personally, I think that is probably one of the most horrible things to
Yeah,
get
and
people to sign. And like, why would you agree to that? And because half the time, or 90 or 99% of the time, all these spirits really want to cross over.
right.
You
And
know?
that little cemetery that's all forgotten and neglected, and I prayed in there many times, and
Yeah.
it's overgrown and it's a sad place and it's been desecrated. And people, I don't understand what makes you happy about busting up a bunch of stuff and knocking over people's tombstones and disrespecting,
Uh,
the dead like
yeah.
that. It's just a sad place.
And it's funny because I mentioned this on the podcast last night I was on, um, that I am not a fan of graveyards. Never have been. I've probably in my time of doing investigations, I think I've done 4, 5. I and if I have done investigations in there, I try to keep the names off the headstones and stuff like that because I think it's disrespectful. A couple of years ago, there was somebody who did a video and it was on YouTube. He actually went into a graveyard and actually sat on the plot and leaned up against the headstone or the gravestone and did an SB7 like he owned the place.
Mm.
And I thought it was absolutely disgusting. Me and Lex, I do a podcast through the lens, and we did a podcast on this because it was absolutely disgusting what this guy did. He sat on there like he owned the place. But then the sad thing, he was profiting from it, making money from it. It was so disrespectful. I've always had a theory that graveyards, if somebody passes away, because we always hear the stories that uh, spirits go back to the places they love and know, right? Why would
Right,
a spirit really want to hang out in the
right,
graveyard? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why
You're
wouldn't they
right.
go
You're
back
right.
to a place that they love and know?
right,
And so that's why I tend to stay away from graveyards. And me personally, I think it's just disrespectful. It's their
right.
last resting place. Why go in there and bother it? You know what I mean? But that's just and I'm not saying that because Sean's here and because he's a reverend. I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm not saying
I
that
know.
at all.
I know,
It's
brother.
That's how I feel. And that's why I tend not to do graveyards very, very often. There has to be a real special reason why I'm doing it. And for example, in the UK, I did it because I was in the UK and I was there to do investigations.
Right.
And I spent a lot of money to go there. So that's why I did it. But other than that, here, I'm just not a fan of them. I think, and I said it already, I think it's just a place where it's their last resting place and that should be their place.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when I see people going in graveyards and displaying the names and the dates they passed away, and then putting the SB7 on the headstone or the REM pod. Or I'm just not a fan of it. I'm really not. So, and I'm not a really religious person at all. I am Anglican, um, which is basically 2 steps away from being a Catholic. But that's just my personal opinion. And hey, listen, everybody has their own opinions about graveyards, and that's completely up to them. And power to them. But that's just my thing. So
Well, let me give you both a couple of comments here from a guy that gets attacked from because of the collar I wear and
yeah,
because of the field I'm in.
I love the field you're in.
And this is what I
Yeah,
do. First of
yeah,
all, for the actors, I saw a great interview the other day, and I'm going to misquote him here, I know, but I saw a great interview with Al Pacino the other day,
oh great,
and he said his whole life in his acting career, he never went into an audition expecting to get the role
yeah,
or wanting the role so bad he knew it would devastate him if he didn't get it. He
yeah,
always approached auditions as though it was a great opportunity to have an audience to see him and hear him. and that's all he did. And then he would walk away, and if he heard back, great. If he didn't, he's on to the next.
Yep.
Now, as far as what I do is, I'm guilty of being just the diehard ghost hunter back in the day. But what
Yeah.
happened as time went on and I started doing more residential stuff and trying to help people with their issues, I all of a sudden realized how much more I enjoyed the field and how much more rewarding it was to be in it to help people than how
Mm.
it was when I first started. And then eventually, so much drama and people attacking you, I wasn't in the beginning. I would fight back a little bit, but then I realized when I stopped and did what you do, which is just don't care anymore. I'm not getting, no matter what, I'm not getting drug into the drama. It was like something just got released off my back, but I still have to not let my wife see people attacking me because she loves me. She's very protective over me,
Mm.
and she will lash out if she sees people attacking me. So I try not to let her see that stuff, but I just totally avoid it like it's the plague, and it is a plague.
Yep.
And that's the way it is, but the drama's in the clergy, the drama's in the paranormal field, and I feel bad for the guys that are, to be honest with you, that are these diehard investigators that are out to be able to 100% prove that ghosts exist, and they're going to have a ghost sit down with them on a podcast and be able to interview them. It's not
Mhm.
going to happen. And it's always been a spiritual adventure, in my humble opinion, and it'll always be a spiritual adventure. I don't know all the answers, and I
Mm.
never will have all the answers. One day, the three of us will be having a talk, another talk like this on a cloud in heaven somewhere, and we'll be laughing about all the things we don't know now that then we will know.
Yeah.
But if people could just you know chill out, relax, and if we could approach this thing in a different way and act like we're one big just giant team under one big umbrella, it would be so much better. But unfortunately, I agree with the two of you. It's not going to stop. It's
It's not
always
reality,
no.
unfortunately. It's a great wish. It's a great fantasy. Um, but in reality, it's just unfortunately it's not going to happen. And it's sad. It really, really is sad. And there I again, and I'm glad you said that, Sean. I don't get involved. I don't want to be involved. And
Yeah,
and people can try. People can try. It's not going to happen. And
you know
like
what
I,
happened to me is it developed me. It all of a sudden has developed in me, and I never saw this coming. When somebody really comes at me, I all of a sudden find it just nowadays. I kind of find it funny,
mm,
and I go, "Wow!" Like I'll see somebody say something about me that's just extremely insulting, but so not true. I
yeah,
just I laugh at first. I go, "Wow," and then I end up feeling sorry for that person, and I
yeah,
guess it's the clergy in me, but I end up praying for them, and
yeah.
it's the whole pray for your enemies thing, turn the other cheek, and when it just that
It's a shame.
approach has helped me a lot. Yeah.
It's a shame. It really is a shame. But I've been in industries. I've been in. I was a hairstylist. I'm an actor. I'm in the paranormal field. Probably the worst fields for drama. And but at the end of the day, it happens, and they can go out and celebrate if that's how they deal with things. And it's just not me. It's not going to happen. And they can try, they can try, they can try. It's not. It's never going to happen with me. I
Can you
love
talk about
people.
that new role that you mentioned, or is it a
Yeah.
secret?
Um. No, I can't. No, I can't talk about it. But
Okay, that's all right.
it should be fun. It's going to be fun. But I will say I wish I could. I wish I could.
It's
But
okay.
anyways, other than that, no. So we can move on from that. And yeah.
Well, we got
So
about probably a little over 5 minutes before what
yep.
we have to rudely kick you out of here.
Oh,
I want to
that's
make
nice.
sure everybody knows everything. I want to make sure everybody knows everything about you. Just go down the list. Start with how you started, Huntaphobia and what that's all about in the future for it. The
Yeah.
how you started Global Ghost Hunt and the future of that,
Yeah.
and PARAPOST Network, which my show now is on your network. Um, talk about that and the future of that, and then we probably have to kick you out of here.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. I like how you phrase that. We're gonna kick you out. Um, Huntophobia really started about 4 years ago. It happened during COVID. There wasn't a lot going on. Businesses were closed, everything, and I'd been going out with other people, and I just decided to start my own. And so I got my son together. I got another person. That's when I ended up meeting that other person who ended up joining, and we just started going out filming locations, and it was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun. Learned a lot having my own team, and and it was great. And Huntophobia, and I get this question a lot actually. Where did Huntophobia come from? Nothing glorious at all. I just sat down one night and said, okay, do I want to use my own name? Because some people do that. They use their own name. I go, no, I don't really want to do that. So I just started coming up with a name, and Hunt, ghost hunting, Hunt came up. And then there's a lot of people out there that are afraid, and that's where phobia came from. But hunt phobia just didn't sound right. I put an A in there. That's where huntophobia came from. Nothing glamorous. I just sat down one night, and that's where I
There's
came up
a
with the name.
website people can go and check it out, and a Facebook page.
Yeah, the Facebook page is Huntophobia. Facebook, there's actually a private page for my postings, but then there's a public page. You can find me on any social media. My videos are up on Paraflix, and I will tell people if they want to join Paraflix, it's a subscription service. It's just like Netflix, but it's for the paranormal. Use the code Huntophobia, and you will get a tremendous discount
Oh,
for the
cool.
first year. So I think it comes out to, and I think in the States it comes out to, I think about $1.99 a month, but you get all the paranormal that you want, and it's
Cool.
endless amounts. So just type in Huntophobia in the promo code, and you'll get a discount for the first year. But Global Ghost Hunt started because I was with another group, and I wanted to really kind of do my own, and it's a lot different from the other one. Like ours is 10 days. It's in the spring and fall, so we do it twice a year. This year, it's April 25th to May 5th. It's 10 days, so you can go over to the website and learn about the Global Ghost Hunt.
That's
If
a
you want to,
Facebook page, correct?
it has a Facebook page, it has a TikTok page, it has a
How do
Instagram
teams?
page.
How do if there's teams out there watching
Yeah.
that might want to take part in Global Ghost Hunt? How do they join?
Okay, so right now, unfortunately, we're having a little bit of a glitch issue with the site. So what you can do is you can go to the site, write us in the message board saying that you're interested in joining. We will send you a link and with all the information on it, and you can fill it out and then send it back to us. We leave the emails in there. Until that issue gets fixed, this is the way we're going to have to do it, unfortunately. So hopefully it's going to be fixed, hopefully in the next week. But yeah, so Global Ghost Hunt is really, honestly, Sean, it's about the preservation of these haunted locations that seem to be disappearing every single year. That's what Global Ghost Hunt is really about. Yes, it's about the teams, but it's really more about the locations and getting these locations saved if they're failing right now, because there's a lot disappearing. So it's really about the preservation of that. Parapost Network Central came up with the idea because a couple of years ago I came up with the idea that I was seeing a lot of shows that were not having anybody in their room watching. So I created this page to get vodcasts so we get more people watching their shows, because let's be honest, Sean and Annette, I'm sure you know by now, these shows take a lot of work. They
Yeah.
take a lot of work to put together. So people should have the recognition of getting their shows out there. That's why I created it. I have an app called Parapost Network. It's actually an app that you can download, that you can go over to the app and download it, and you can see paranormal, you can see cryptids. It's a
What
social
about
media
anybody
site.
out there that has an idea for a show or already has a show and they're not on Parapost, but maybe they're considering reaching out and wanting to maybe get their show on Parapost. How do they do that?
Yeah, they just go to PARAPOST Network Central, hit the messenger, go on a message and or messenger and write us and let us know. Listen, I got a podcast or a podcast. I want to bring it on your network. How do I do that? And by the end of that conversation, you're already up and going.
Wow.
So it doesn't. It's
Cool.
we're not a scheduled page, so you can go live anytime you want. And I just don't prefer I'm not the micromanager type person. So you can go live anytime you want. And that's the beauty of Parapost Network Central. So if you want to go live 5 times a week, by all means go live 5 times a week. This is about you. This is about you, Sean and Annette. This is about getting your show out there and more noticed. And as the page builds, you guys are going to build. That's the key, right? That is the key. So
Well,
yeah.
I love you, brother, and I respect
Thank
you.
you.
Annette, before we rudely kick him out of here, is there anything you'd like to talk to say to Bryan before we have to say la vie?
I am so glad to have met you. This show was
Thank you.
so much fun. You're so easy to talk to, so interesting
Thank
to
you.
talk to. And I feel like it all just got into a great place where it took on a life of its own. And it was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm surprised the hour went by like that.
Yeah, it did.
We'll
Yeah.
have you back,
Yeah.
man. Matter of fact, I almost before even today reached out to you about another date because I knew that I wasn't going to get to talk to you about all the things I want to do in the
Yeah.
hour. So
Yeah.
you'll be hearing from me for this other date I have in mind.
Okay.
Ready to
Okay.
have you back and
You
talk
know,
about it. And it's
Sean.
right about the time you are kicking off your season, and I think
Yeah.
it's appropriate to get you back.
Yeah. You know what, Sean? Anytime you need me, just call me or message me, and I'm there for you.
Right
Always.
on, brother.
Always.
I want you to have a wonderful remainder to your
Thank
Friday
you.
evening. Give my best to Sasquatch. Have a great weekend, brother, and Annette and I will be
Thank you.
seeing you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for Zach in the background for doing what he does. And Annette, it was very nice meeting you. Thank you.
Really
All right.
great to
And
meet you.
Sean, thank
All
you so
right.
much for having me on. I really,
Got
really
it, brother.
appreciate it.
You'll
Okay.
be back. We'll see you
Great.
later.
Thank you.
All righty. Annette, I love you too and respect you too.
Thank
You
you.
know that.
Wasn't that so fun? I really enjoyed that. It was really interesting.
Is there anything you want to say to the masses
I
or I
kind of
kick you out of
already
here?
I kind of already said it, so I'll say everybody thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you again soon.
Annette, if I was there to give you a big hug and a kiss, please have try your best to have a blessed weekend and a blessed birthday. Happy birthday. And I'll be seeing you. Who's next Friday? I don't even know. Who's next Friday? Oh, you're going to love them. Well, I don't know if you're going to be here. It's Barry and Connie Strom. They channel the whole show. You're invited to come, but you might want to, if you want to sit it out, because basically, once I bring them on, they start channeling, and it's like I'm not even here either.
Well,
We'll,
very
we'll
cool.
we'll talk about that.
Very, very
But have a
cool.
great weekend. Have a great
Thank
birthday.
you.
I'll talk
Thank
to
you
you
so
soon.
much.
We'll see you later.
I decided to kick him out because of that story he told us in the pre-show. And I decided that, we'll keep you on because, I guess I better not do that. It is his show. Bye, Annette.
Bye.
Well, it's both of our shows. It's all three of our shows, but she didn't practice an ending. So I'm going to get her to do that. And the next time you do that, she'll surprise you. And maybe she'll have an ending. And then she can close the show out. And I can already be enjoying my coffee and relaxing. Oh, guys, thank you also very much for tuning in. I don't have a show without you guys, that's for sure, because it is what it is. And God bless Zach and Adrian for co-producing my show, because I'm totally computer illiterate and I couldn't do the show without them. God bless Bryan J Laverty. I see great things for him. Listen, the church I belong to, United States Old Catholic Church, and bishopjameslong.com. usocc.org. Go to either one of those websites. You'll see a link for night prayer, which is Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. You'll also find a link for Bible study, which is Wednesday afternoons and Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific. Did I say 5 p.m. for night prayer too? Night prayer is a little later. It's 7 p.m. Pacific, and Bible study is 5 p.m. Pacific. Help a seminary and become a priest. Deacon Bill Payne, Deacon Mark Warren, and myself, we're all deacons. We're going to be ordained to the priesthood in March. It's in Illinois. We all have to fly there. We're all having financial difficulty getting there. So if you want to donate to the cause and help us get there, you can do that at one of those websites. Go to usocc.org, I believe it is, and find the links to donate and help us get there. You guys know next week's guest. Well, Monday will be Dr. Joy. Dr. Joy Pugh will be here Monday, and then Barry and Connie Strom the following Friday. So the next two shows are going to rock. Check out Zach's website, communitypayitforward.us. Just go there and be pleasantly surprised. And he's got a big marathon show coming up, and I'm going to appear on it. And he's got some great giveaways coming up. And so that's going to be really, really cool. Eli Roth presents The Legion of Exorcists. Still streaming on Discovery Plus and Max, and Roku and a bunch of other places. And you can buy the whole season 1 at Amazon Prime. So check that out if you missed the show. And if you like the show and you want to see a season 2, it hasn't been canceled, you can go to the Travel Channel website and submit a comment that you would like to see a season 2. You can find me on Facebook now as Lawrence Morais. That's my stage name. And Sean Patrick Whittington is right after that. So you know you're still at the right place. But that's where you can find me now. Thank you to Things Network. Thank you to PACT, little p, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel. PARAPOST Network Central. Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, and Spirit, Alabama. Thank them all for all of them simulcasting my show. God bless them for that. What else do I want to say to you guys other than I love you all? It's bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this Haunted Carnival Barker hat. And it's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night. I have the world's worst thesaurus. Not only is it terrible, it's also terrible. I'm pulling another one. I'm pulling another one. Don't send me smart jokes. Did you hear about the beautiful wedding? Even the cake in tea. Okay, let's try it again. Did you hear about the beautiful wedding? Even the cake was in tears. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I love you all. God bless you all in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace.